effective, you must care and feed the goose that lays the golden eggs. If you're going to drive on this society's streets, and if you're going to walk on society's sidewalks, and indulge in society's commerce and goods and services in the community, you've got to do your share to care and feed the goose. You can't grab yours and put it in gold and hide it and put it in the ground, because if everybody did that, we would have no society. So you can't teach something that if everybody did would wreck the whole thing. He said, well, I never thought about that. I said, that's obvious. Right? Now you must think, you must ponder. What's going to help all of society? Somebody says, well, I'm going to grab everything I got, barricade myself, go off to a cave in the mountains and wait with a gun. Well, if everybody did that, right, then the world would be over. And God would have to start all over again. Which he's done on occasion. But most people didn't enjoy the process. So what's going to help everybody? What's going to help commerce? What can I do on my part on taxes and my part on savings and my part on helping financial institutions that will build businesses and employ more people and keep the health of the country going and alive? Right? You just have to think, not just about yourself. Right? Self-thinking is for the development of skill. Now we need to think also outward about what can I do? My part, my 10 cents, my percentage. And you can teach this to kids. Put your money in financial institutions. Kid says, well, do you get it back? Say, sure you get it back. They borrow it for a while and give it back to you. And they also pay you interest on it. Pay you money for using it. Kid says, how clever. And then you give him the blockbuster. He says, yeah, but what do they pay kids? And you give them the good news. Same rate as they pay adults. Now you can start acting big. Because now, number one, you are a lender instead of a borrower, and you're getting paid as much as adults. Even if you're 10, they pay you the same percentage. You say, wow. Now then, you also have to teach kids how to be happy taxpayers. Because kids become taxpayers as soon as they spend money. They go down to the local store, spend 50 cents. Shopkeeper wants what else? 3 more cents. Kid says, it says 50 cents here. Says, it's 53 cents. You got to give me 3 more cents. Kid says, well, what's that for? Who gets that money? Now, at age 10, he's a taxpayer. 3 cents he's got to cough up. Out of his hard-earned money. He earned it. It's his. Kid says, the shopkeeper says, you got to give me 3 cents. It's taxes. Little kid says, well, I'm only 10. Doesn't matter. At 10, you become a taxpayer. Now you've got to teach kids how to be happy taxpayers and what the 3 cents is for. Otherwise, they will be confused. So you teach them what the 3 cents is for. See the sidewalks and the streets? Everybody can't make their portion of the street. You don't have the equipment. So what we do is we all gather up this money from all of us, and we pay somebody to build these streets and these sidewalks. So you have something to ride your bicycle on, and you can go places. Kid says, well, that makes sense. Then here's my 3 cents. I'll make my contribution. It's part of the care and feeding of the goose that lays the golden eggs. And then you also teach kids. See the police car going there? You own that. It's yours. And the guy in it's one of your servants. Servant, called public what? Servant. So at age 10, you got some servants. Servants. Taking care, keeping the bullies away. When you get in trouble, give a call. See, once kids understand, once people understand where the money goes, what's it for, make the happy contribution, divide up your money gladly instead of reluctantly, okay? Then you can just change a lot of this inner turmoil. And you get more excited about participating and doing your part and learning skills and growing. So that you become an incredibly unique part of society rather than a reluctant part and a foot-dragging part and an unhappy part and a miserable part. and you do it with animosity instead of joy. So you can imagine what the complex of society and how it would change if everybody had those feelings. But if enough of us do, we will be able to affect all the others, at least in some measure. What you do with your money. So now we've got 30% set aside. Learn to live on 70. Okay? Caesar first, then God, 10 cents for increase of capital, 10 cents to invest. Live on 70. Now once you get doing extremely well, you can even start living on less and less and less, because the amount is more and more and more. Now a few more tips on financial independence and we'll take our first break. Here they are. Number one, if you haven't done it in a long time, put together a financial statement on yourself. A financial statement simply is a piece of paper divided in half, and on one side is all the list of your assets, the value of your assets. On the other side of the paper is all that you owe, called liabilities. Then you subtract one from the other, and that now is called your net worth. Mr. Shope asked me, have you put together a financial statement recently? I said, I never have put together one. He says, well, now's the time to do it. And I wasn't too happy about putting together that first one. I said, well, it's not going to look that good. He said, it doesn't matter how it looks. You got to have one. To get where you want to go, first of all, you got to know where you are. Say, where am I, without kidding anybody? Okay, now this first financial statement, you don't have to publish it in a public record. It's for your own private eyes to see, but you got to see where you are. Take a look. Now, when I put my first one together, I had no problem on the liability side. I mean, that was long list. Budget, finance, they were all on there. Money I'd borrowed from my parents. I mean, it was all on there, right? On the asset side, though, I really started scraping the bottom of the barrel. I put the value of my shoes on there. I put shoes. There was $10 at least, right? I mean, I'm scraping. So I won't look so bad, right? But anyway, so if you're putting together your first one, right, whatever you got to do, make it look as good as you can. But also, make sure it's accurate and make sure you take a good look at where you are. Now then, play this financial independence program like a game. Be delighted in reducing your liabilities and increasing your assets. Once I got the hang of this, I started putting together a financial statement about every 30 days, sometimes even less. If I knew the picture had changed quite a bit, I'd draw me up a new financial statement so I could put away the old one. Here's my new one. You just play it like a game. And then learn to be excited about reducing your liabilities. Shope taught me how to pay my bills with enthusiasm. Now, see, that was a whole new thing for me. He said, the next time you pay $100 on an account, put a little note in there and say, with great excitement, I send you this $100. He says, you won't believe what it'll do on the other end, right? When they get that note. But he says, most important of all, you won't believe what it'll do on your end. Now starting to part with your money with excitement, with enthusiasm. He started changing my whole opinion about money and about paying my bills and about capital and learning to live within restricted limits. He got me excited about it. And see, a big part of what you do with your plan is going to be your attitude about it. So develop a whole new attitude about your money. Remember, it's not the amounts that count, it's the attitude and the plan. He got me to open up my first savings account. And he said, go down there with excitement and open it up. I'd never had a savings account. So I told him, I said, well, I don't have any money to open up a savings account.